Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. We are back with another episode for you guys today. I'm your host, Zach Jackson, our co host, Lorenzo, our co host, Justin, and we're here on season 8, episode number 7. We are here on this great Friday night, about to be Saturday. So let's hope we can get this show in before Friday night gets over with. So let's get into the NBA news that we have for you guys today. We have 2 segments. We're going to be going over the entirety of the NBA draft from first round to second round, just going over some of the big time names that we thought we saw go and we liked. And then on top of that, we'll go over some of the big snubs that were not invited to a team in the draft. Some of them were undrafted free agents, but at the same time, we still have to go over some big time players that were not called their name. And one of them was Caleb Love from Arizona, just to name a few. We'll get into more details once we start the show. And then secondly, we'll go over some of the big moves that have happened over the last couple days or so. Could we see any more news? As we've seen Austin Reeves getting decline his player option, so he is up for a max contract. A lot of people saying he's not worth it. I agree with a lot of people what they say, so we'll be going over that as well. So let's get right into it. Justin, I know you have been eager to be on the podcast to talk about the NBA draft, so I'm going to let you start it off. What were your first initial thoughts on the draft? And did you think that there was any there could have been other players selected over other players, if you could name a few?
I mean, the first thought that came to my mind when watching the draft, especially early on, was like I was expecting a little bit more trades in the lottery rounds, in the lottery pick numbers that just never came. Like I thought San Antonio was gonna trade down because now they have 3 guards. They just drafted
We
Castle
discussed
last.
this. Remember on Monday, we discussed this. We were like, I didn't think Dylan Harper was the right move because of the fact that they have 3 guards. But they decided.
I thought that it was definitely best player available. But with that being said, I feel like they should have gone another direction. They could have traded those 2 picks and maybe tried to go after Giannis or someone else that could have been a better fit to the team.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
I think the whole Ace Bailey situation is another thing. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't think I've ever seen an athlete like this in sports where they just have the gall to be like, I'm not happy to even be in NBA. I want to go where I want to go, and there's nothing you can tell me about
it. He's arrogant. I really don't. I really think that he doesn't deserve to get drafted. He's a great talent. The Jazz are just going to do what they're going to do. I heard Brian Windhorst say that they're not going to listen to a kid. They're going to do what they're going to do, what's best for the team, and he's not going to say no to an NBA contract. I'm sorry. He could say all he wants in the media, whatever. When it comes with that dollars and that money, he ain't saying no. So
imagine he does, though. Then what?
Then you know what? You can't tell him to kick rocks then. Because if he's not going to play and he's not going to do, guess what? You save the money. You save the contract. You save whatever. And let him kick rocks and let him try to find somewhere else. I bet you the team that he wants to go to is not going to pick him up based on the fact that he's been stirring up all these rumors and all this bullshit that's been happening over the last couple days or so since the draft, before and since the draft happened. So I definitely think he's one of the biggest surprises because everyone's talking to him about a top 5 pick. To be honest, I don't think he deserved to be in the top 5 or near get drafted if he's going to have a problem with where he's going. And the Jazz are not a bad team. It's not like he's going to Washington. They still got Lauri Markkanen over there. They got some dogs over there. I think
they still got the
Sexton
dude
is still there.
Yeah,
they got some dogs.
Well, you said Sexton,
I believe, right? Or no?
Isn't he a Celtic? I gotta check.
If maybe I'm not mistaken, but
I don't know if I saw something.
The last time I checked was that the last time I saw was that he was still there, but I could be totally.
Oh, he was in conversations. Okay. So he's still.
Colin Sexton is still there. You still have Lauri Markkanen in there. You have a good team. You bring in Ace Bailey. They don't have to be one of the worst teams in the NBA next year. And I know I'm missing a couple other guys that are really good on that team.
They got the Keontae George dude too. Yeah. I remember him. He's nice.
So I don't understand where
the Collier guy,
Yes, Isaiah Collier from last year with USC. USC, yeah. when he was with Bronny. He got hurt like halfway through the year. And he was a really good. So I don't know where there's like, oh, the Jazz sucks. Like, I get it. They're not the flashiest team, but it's not like you're going to Washington. Now, if you're going to Washington, I can give you some leeway because Washington really, really sucks.
Washington, they just trying to get as many old players as possible to trade and get picked mid-season. I feel like that's what they're trying to do.
Well, I think they're also trying to get veterans as well to also help out the young guys, so that their young guys can actually know how to play basketball. I think Washington was full of just too many young guys that were just doing whatever they wanted to do, and it just wasn't translating into good basketball. I think nowadays, now what they're trying to do with having Middleton there, bringing in Smart, bringing in some depth when it comes to the veteran leadership, you can help out the rookies turn their persona around and the environment in Utah to try to change it up, to try to get them to play better. I want to get Lorenzo's thoughts on this. I know, Lorenzo, you're not a big-time NBA guy, but obviously you know a couple of the big names of a Cooper Flagg, of maybe a Dylan Harper with Rutgers, a couple other guys maybe you've known. What was your, what was your big moment where you were like, oh, this guy's going to be good at this at this team? Is it a Cooper Flagg or is it somebody else that is off the radar?
You know, I really thought Cooper Flagg, as great of a pick as he was, he's definitely up there for me. I think that was one of the best of the draft and definitely a highlight of this year's draft. But I really think that the Hawks had a great pick in Asa Nua. I think it was a great pick because he has like he and that was kind of like, that was a trade, right?
Is it Ajanu?
Yeah. That was a trade, if I'm right?
I believe so.
Yeah, wait, where's this?
Isn't that like the second round?
That was the second round, I believe.
We're talking about first round here?
Yeah, I mean, whatever pick you thought was good. I mean, I
thought it was a good trade because it adds like kind of a versatile front court piece with the Hawks, and the Hawks they were an okay team, but I feel like that this is definitely like a step up for them in terms of their offensive power. Another one to me, I mean, I thought that was a great pick, but I also thought that Cooper Flagg, as we mentioned, was a great one. That's a generational talent right there. I mean, he's a 6'8", two-way forward, and from Duke, he really just brings like an elite defensive versatility that the Mavericks needed, especially after the awful, very controversial Luka trade.
Yes, I agree. That's a good take. For me, if I would have to go on a limb here and say anybody that really to keep their eyes on is this man called Jeremiah Fears. That was a great pick by the Pelicans. But this is my thing. Now, Justin, this is more of an expertise with you.
Wait, but I'm asking something before you say that. Another thing that I didn't understand was why the Sixers took VJ. I really didn't understand that. I feel like they should have took Ace, regardless of anything. I feel like they should have been like, screw it, we take an Ace. We take it back there available. Yeah,
I think
we need somebody to replace Paul George in a couple of years.
I think VJ is great. I like VJ.
I don't like. He's not the best shooter.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, if you're looking at it right, you're seeing just what's happening with Ace Bailey in the media, the attention he's bringing to the draft, to himself. You already have a bad problem in Philly with Joel Embiid's health. He's never there. Paul George coming here. He's hurt. He's never there. We also had a couple instances of Tyrese Maxey, which he's really never hurt. He was hurt last year. You have a lot of media attention on the 76ers. I think they were like, you know what? We know Ace Bailey's probably better overall, but we know, guess what? VJ is not going to be a cancer in the locker room and is going to give us bad persona, is going to give us bad media. He's going to uplift the team. He's going to keep things right. We're not going to have a guy that's trying to say, oh, this team sucks. Oh, I don't want to be here, trying to start things and be it all about him. They kind of said, you know what? This is the safe pick. He's got some work when it comes to shooting, but this man is an athlete. He's a great player. He's a great person. I'd rather take VJ. If I was the 76ers, I think they made the right they made the right decision on taking a guy that's less all over the place. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I get that, but I still feel like you take best player available. I'm gonna be very blunt when I say this. I'm not the proponent of fuck it. We trying to win. You know what the Warriors did? Steph Curry didn't want to be a Warrior. Steph Curry wanted to be a Knick. You know what that GM said? Screw it. We taking Steph. We taking Steph. You know how many players don't want to play for certain teams? You take the player and then they shut up when you start winning. Nah, this ain't new with Ace. This has been going on for a while. It's just a lot of times the teams take the guys anyway.
Yeah, I can give you that, but at the same time, for me, again, you have your opinion, I have my opinion. I think they made the right decision not bringing in a guy who's going to start problems. They already have a problem. And they have a problem in the media with all the bullshit, and not to mention their owner. I think it's their owner, correct? Or is their general manager?
The GM. What Harden said something about him. I forget his name.
I forget his name, but they give up. He has a problem in the media. There's a lot of media attention with the 76ers. Not good media, bad media. You're bringing in another guy that's going to bring in bad media, bad relations into the building. I think you get a guy that's going to work hard. He's going to give you your all. And is not going to fucking complain. And I like the pick. But again, you don't have a not a valid point. They probably should have picked Ace based on the talent wise, but I think VJ can be just as good, if not better than Ace in the coming years, based on the fact that he's going to be there. We don't know the commitment things that Ace is going to be. We'll see what happens with the Jazz. But for me, now back to my point, Jeremiah Fears for me was fantastic. This man is 18, I think he's 18 or 19 years old, and he is in the NBA, going to be with the Pelicans, and he's going to see some good minutes. My thing is, I think the Pelicans are stupid, not for picking Jeremiah Fears, for going on a limb and basically saying, you know what, let's take all the picks, all this. We had a 2026 first-round pick next year. Let's screw that. Let's go take that off. Let's go get 2 rookies. They got 2 rookies that are pretty good. They got the guy from bless you. They got the guy from Maryland. So you got 2 great rookies there. But basically, it's Trey Murphy, it's Zion Williamson, it's Herb Jones, 2 rookies.
They got Jordan Poole now.
And a Jordan Poole. That you're one Zion Williamson injury away from being another lottery pick again next year without a first-round pick. Why are we trading all this shit? And we understand that, guess what? Zion gets hurt, we're screwed. And to be honest, I hate to say it, it's probably going to happen because he can't stay healthy. So for me, I think this was a great pick. I think Jeremiah Fears is going to help out New Orleans big time. But at the same time, I think they're stupid giving up on their next year's pick for 2 rookies, basically just having a Zion team. And without Zion, you have no team. So for me, I just don't think it makes sense. Now, what say you, Lorenzo? Anything else that you would like to add for the NBA, just coming into this coming year? Obviously, we know what happened in the NBA Finals. Do you think that when you change course a little bit, do you think OKC can run it back next year based on all the moves that we've seen, all the different trades, all the teams coming back healthy next year? Do you think OKC can run it back?
In terms of winning the finals next year?
Yeah, can they become a dynasty like Golden State? Could they run it back for 2 to 3 more years, 3 years straight, 2 years straight?
They've definitely had in my eyes, they had the greatest season in the NBA this year. They were a top team in their conference. They played like a number 1 seed team, not only in the regular season, but they played like that in the playoffs, unlike some teams who crumbled after the regular season happened. I think I really wouldn't be surprised if they do run it back because they really have like they have had a fast track rebuild, and they have a lot of young talent and high upside prospects that could really just change the game for years to come. I mean, you not only see it with Shai and Josh Giddey and Chet Holmgren, but plus like the recent draft gems that they got, they really just have like a dynamic roster that definitely is on the rise in my eyes. And yeah, they've really done. They had an amazing season. The Pacers were right there though. The Pacers were right there during the finals this year to take the cake from them, and it really wasn't like a blowout series like we all thought. I know that a lot of people are. I guess now I'm going on the finals recap here, but I know a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, including my friends, were arguing with me about that the Pacers could have won it if Halliburton never got injured, which I really did argue that because I really think the Pacers, if it takes a one-man star for them to win the entire finals with all the different guys they have on their team, it doesn't really sound like a championship team to me. I know he's like your main guy, but if you're such a big championship team like you say you are, then how come you're blaming his injury on the entire championship loss? Aren't there other guys playing on that team? So I found that very shocking. But I do think OKC, since they're definitely not a group of guys who are like past their prime, they're a young crew, and I think they could definitely run it back with another one. And if not next year, probably 2 years from now. But they're on the rise soon. They're definitely on the rise.
Okay, so I
wanted to also bring up about the Nets.
All right, let's do that in a second.
I want to say my thoughts of whatever he just.
Wait! Somebody in the chat just said something about the Pelicans, so I'm gonna rehash what we just said. The Pelicans again. I want actually, Justin. What do you think about the Pelicans? Because I know I said my thing. What do you think? So we can get another. I mean,
other than the pick situation, I think they're in a good spot. I mean, they're gonna have to figure out what they're doing with Zion anyway. I don't really think you could win with him. I think they need to be at least listening to offers on that guy. He cannot stay healthy, and if I'm them, I would try to tank. We already got CJ off the books,
but they don't.
We got Brandon Ingram up out of here at the trade deadline.
Justin, they don't have a pick next year. They don't have a first-round pick next year. They just gave it up.
Well, what they can do, who's coming out in free agency next year? What they can do is create some cap space and try to overpay for a star.
That's true. Okay, that's not a bad idea.
But I'm a strong believer in Jordan Poole. I really like his game. I just think Washington, he wasn't happy there. When Jordan Poole's playing in a place he's happy in, he plays great basketball. He was good at Michigan too.
Yeah. No, he was.
He was good in Golden State too. So I just think they need to.
So give a letter grade for the Pelicans this draft.
I give it a solid like B+. I like Jeremiah Fears.
I think he's gonna be really good, dude. I think he's gonna be really good.
I just don't. What are you gonna do? Move Jordan Poole to the 2 maybe?
Probably, yeah. Keep Jeremiah.
But you're not gonna start the season with Fears at the 1. You're gonna start with Poole.
Yeah, you probably put Poole at the 1, and then you got Herb Jones. Probably would
Murphy. Herb Jones is a forward though.
Maybe no. Hold on. Murphy would be at the 2. God damn. Murphy would be at the 2. Herb Jones would be at the 3. And then I probably put Zion at the 4, and then you would bring in they don't have Valanciunas anymore. Who would be the 5? You plug
the African dude. I forget his name.
The African dude. That's fantastic.
That
is great. The African. Damn, man.
I wanted the Knicks to draft him last year. He went to Yves Missy.
Oh, yes. So that would be their starting 5. That's not a bad starting 5. And you have Jeremiah Fears coming off the bench. I hope that's an actual name, and not a name that he just made up just to screw with me. But if I'm remembering the fact that it is that name, I just could not pronounce it. So I'm happy he did, because I would have butchered the shit out of that.
Whose name?
Oh God!
Now he's gonna butcher it.
We're gonna just cut that out. We're gonna cut that out. Now, you wanted to come back and answer Lorenzo's comment about OKC. We do have to get to the snubs of the NBA draft. So what do you want to come back with on Lorenzo when it comes to what his take was with OKC for their championship run?
He was talking about how he believes that in 2 years the OKC Thunder can be back. Let's be honest, man. Will they be able to afford to keep this team with the way the Seika apron is? Somebody gonna end up getting traded because they are rookie chatting on them on rookie contracts right now, huh?
I have to stop you in your tracks. They have the most picks out of every NBA team.
Does that mean they're gonna hit on them? Would them Nets have 4 first-round picks?
No.
They have 5.
This team's got like
first-round picks, Justin.
They got like 16. OKC's got like freaking almost 20 picks in the next like 10 years. They'll be fine. I'm telling you, they'll be fine. Now, your question is, will they hit? That's a different story. But at the same time, if you got almost 20 fucking picks, I mean, you got to at least hit on at least 5 of them. And there you go. You got an entire new team. I definitely think they keep Shea. They're keeping Shea. They're not leaving him. I think they're either going to keep J-Dub or they're going to keep Chet, one or the other. The other one's going to have to go off. And then they'll just revamp their roster every couple of years. And then that will be it. So I think they're here to stay, but I don't disagree. I don't think they're going to have a championship run. I think their only chance to make another run for a championship, like an actual champion, like being in the finals, is next year. Because some teams are still getting through the swing of things, still young. But other than that, I think 2 years from now, I don't think they're gonna have a shot at getting to the finals. Competing for one, yes. Getting to one is a different story. And winning it.
Don't let Wemby figure it out, man.
Oh, Wemby figures it out.
That's all I'm saying. Don't let that man, that Slenderman, figure it out, man.
Easy money sniper, the second. Literally, Kevin Durant the second, just on steroids. He's fucking 7 inches taller than him. And can do the same thing.
He's gonna be winning Defensive Player of the Year every year when his prime.
I just hope that the blood clots and everything are good, so like he doesn't have to go through that. Very similar to Chris Bosh, where he wasn't able to get past it. But yeah, so now I want to go over the big snubs. Now I don't really need to share my screen for this because I just know them off the top of my head. Some snubs that did not have their name called on a draft night. Caleb Love from Arizona, one of the top scorers in the nation this past year. He was not selected. Tahad Pettiford, a very great scorer. I guess maybe his size, undersized guard, whatever. I think he's a great guard. He didn't get called his name. Now, again, don't quote me on this. Some guys could have had their name like called and being undrafted right after the draft. But from right now, from what I saw yesterday, these are the names, just a few that were not called. The guy from St. John's, Ruiz Jr. I think it's Ruiz Jr. I forgot his name. He was the one that got benched by Rick Pitino in March Madness. Justin, you know who I'm talking about? RJ Lewis. Yeah. RJ Lewis. He didn't get his name called. So now, what were your thoughts, Lorenzo? Do you think that it was just based on the fact that these guys, the other guys, were just better, or did you think that maybe, like I said, RJ Lewis got benched in in March Madness, in the final couple minutes of a game, that they needed to win, and he got benched? Do you think that has something to do with it? Do you think Caleb Love I don't know how you just deter one of the best scorers in the nation away from getting drafted, or was the players above them just better? What were your thoughts?
Well, to me, I don't think it's big. See, I'm not, as we mentioned many times on this show, I'm not the biggest basketball guy, but the reason why I would think that these guys, that's a really great question. The reason why I would think that these guys aren't picked in the NBA draft or called upon is probably because more so of teams' needs, which doesn't really make too much sense. But then you got to look into some of the situations that these teams have. I really think that maybe it's because these guys came in at the wrong time and situation. There's certain. I don't want to point out particular names for the teams and stuff, because we could be here all night talking about it. But I think that the reason why a lot of these guys weren't picked was because a lot of teams didn't have situations where they needed them, or they were good in the position, they were solid at the moment. I think this NBA season was a very competitive one, honestly. There really isn't, like, when somebody says, even if I ask you, Zach, was there really any teams that were outstandingly bad during this NBA season? Your only answer is probably going to be the Washington Wizards. And then aside from that, there may be, like, maybe you can give me another team that's been outstandingly bad this season, but like the Utah Jazz, you already debunked them. And
yeah, I just don't think that they're that bad. The Hornets are a bad team. I just think they're terribly ran. You have the
oh, definitely, they've been terribly ran. Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan does not know how to run a team. But yeah, I would have to agree with you with this, based on the fact that there was just a lot of guys that I figured that they would get their name called. I mean, Eric Dixon got picked up by the Lakers, Villanova guard. It was the highest point scorer in the nation this past year, with 23.3 points a game. He got picked up by the Lakers, so that was a big time move. On Lakers at the end of the draft, they picked up a monster dude. His name, hold on, I'm gonna get the name right now. Wait, hold on. I think it's I forgot his name. But he was a high flyer from Arkansas. We got him in a massive trade. I think was big at the end of the draft. Just yesterday. So again, like I said, there's just some guys that are just RJ Lewis Jr., guy from St. John's, didn't get drafted. Thought he was definitely going to get drafted, but I guess because of the fact that he got benched and there was a lot of stuff going around about that, he didn't get his thing. Lamont Butler from Kentucky, that's my point guard. He didn't get drafted. Jalen Moore from Oklahoma. Caleb Love, another big one. I would say the big-time guys that I know of is Caleb Love didn't get drafted. Lamont Butler didn't get drafted. RJ Lewis, Jackson Robinson, another big-time guard from Kentucky. Mark Sears, point guard from Alabama.
I was surprised didn't get drafted.
Oh,
I was surprised that guy, that 7'1" guy from Michigan, Vlad Goldman.
Oh yeah, you know why he didn't get drafted? Because the name of the game is not for those guys anymore. If you look at like Zubac, that's 7 feet or close to that, he can move. He can run up the floor. Even Zach Edey. I was big on Zach Edey not going to be able to play big-time game and minutes in the NBA based on his size, but he really slimmed down, and he was able to run the floor and hit some three-pointers during the regular season. So I definitely think that you can adapt, but the guy from Michigan, he was really just a post guy and a guy that can just get rebounds and score off hook shots and just easy buckets, but wasn't a guy that can really advance in the game of basketball. And, who knows? Maybe down the line he gets picked up in the G League, and then he gets his way onto an NBA team and on an NBA contract. But I just think, to answer your question, I just think he wasn't fit for the NBA. He's for college. That college he'll dominate. But in the NBA, we have those guys, and those guys can shoot threes and is quicker off the bounce, can defend all 5 positions, and is not going to be a liability on offense when running down the floor, and he's going to be the last person there, or on defense. So I definitely would think that he didn't get it because he just wasn't naturally the right fit, like you were saying with some of these guys, but he was just naturally not the right fit for the NBA right now. Not yet.
I would say
that he's in.
Yeah.
Because the era he's in. Because I was pretty shocked. And maybe it's probably because I'm not as diehard of a basketball fan as you guys are. But I mean, this guy was averaging 16 points per game, and he went to 3 different college. He was playing at 3 different colleges, and he was he had over 60% shooting. What was that?
I said I was very familiar with his story. He's a great story. It just wasn't fit. He's not in the right era. Back then, like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, he would be perfect.
But not because they want like you were saying.
You want a stretch 5 that could run the floor, man.
And shoot threes.
If you can't shoot threes, you got to be able to be an elite.
You got to be Zach Edey. You have to be Zach Edey. 7.
No. You got to be Mitchell Robinson.
No.
Because he can guard 1 through 5.
Yeah, but he can't shoot.
He can't shoot, but I'm saying if you can't shoot, you have to be like that. You have to. Zach Edey's slow.
I don't know. Have you seen the games? He didn't look too
I
slow.
watched some of his games. He be getting beat.
He didn't look too slow. But I'd say I'd take a Zack Edey or Mitch Rob. That's a good comparison. Or Mitch Rob if you cannot shoot. But Zack Edey works well with Memphis because they're running, gunning, and lob threat and this, that with John. It's a lot of different things. Mitch Robinson works well with the Knicks. Paired with Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, he's a perfect fit. But the problem was the last couple of years, can he stay healthy? And this year he played pretty well enough to get them to the conference finals and almost to the finals. But yes, you're not wrong. You have to be like those guys if you want to be able to not be able to shoot. You have to be able to play all 5 positions, and you have to be able to run. And if you can't do that, you're not going to be able to play in this league. So
it's all about versatility nowadays.
Yes.
You got to be able to shoot.
Big time. Now, Justin, before we go, I want to get your thoughts on what were your highlights of the biggest snubs. We went over Lamont Butler. We went over hold on.
Caleb Love.
I would have said Caleb
RJ
Love
Lewis.
was the biggest snub. I thought maybe Ryan Nembhard. In a lot of my mock drafts, I had him going late, maybe second round to Indiana. I thought maybe that pull from Andrew would be able to get him in the league, and he wasn't bad in school, so I don't understand why he didn't get drafted.
Mark Sears is a big one, Justin.
Yeah,
he was an assist leader too, right?
RJ Lewis too. Yeah. He was pretty good at St. John's.
RJ Lewis had a problem because he got benched, and then he made a problem with it. On top of that, he wasn't a consistent scorer. He was a guy that
he made a problem with the coaches.
Well, after that, he got benched in the biggest game of the year.
Yeah,
and they lost.
Yeah.
So
why wouldn't you be upset as
NBA guys, especially St. John's, a big time school like that, a lot of eyes on you, and you make that instant in March Madness, you're gonna have a problem getting drafted. Sorry, it's just the way it is. But my thing, Mark Sears, Caleb Love, Jackson Robinson was hurt most of the year, but he's a great talent. RJ Lewis, Lamont Butler, like you said, Nembhard. Eric Dixon from Villanova. I was going to be shocked if he didn't get drafted. The Lakers picked him up on a two-year contract at the end, so we picked him up. He averaged 23.3 points a game last year. So he's coming to the Lakers, which is a pretty big move. But other than that, I think like I said again, Mark Sears, Nembhard, that's 2. Jackson Robinson 3. RJ Lewis 4. Lamont Butler 5. And then I think you go Caleb Love 6. Those are the big time guys that just didn't get a chance to get drafted. And I think it's crazy because I thought they were going to be a lock for the draft. At least a couple of them. Caleb Love, Mark Sears, and RJ Lewis. I think those guys should have been a lock, but I guess other teams had other reasons why not to pick them. But if you guys have any more thoughts on this year's NBA draft, if not, we'll end it here.
I wanted to talk about the Nets.
Yes. Before we go,
the 5 first-round picks. I mentioned it earlier to you, Zach.
All right, go for it. Go for it.
I was gonna say, it's probably to me that was the most controversial thing that might have happened in the draft because not only. I was reading about it while we were actually on the show right now, and I found out that there has been no team in NBA history that has kept and used 5 first-round picks in the same draft. Which most front offices, like we've seen with all the other teams we talked about on the show today, really consolidate their picks and trade up to land a different star or stash different players. But the Nets kept 5 guys, and not only did they keep 5 guys, they kept 5 guys who are not really proven talent. They're not like caliber for like a first-round talent that they need. And they're all guys, and all the guys are mostly like 18 to 19 years old. So I feel like I think it's an extremely risky move on the part of the Nets to do this, especially since they had a very underwhelming season during a very underwhelming 2025 season.
They should
But
have.
I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. I know Justin had a lot to say
I
about
already
it.
said my thoughts on it. I thought they had a horrible draft. 4 guards is insane.
I didn't even know they picked 4 guards.
Like, bro, I think when we were in the break room, I was talking about coming at Caesar about it. I'm like, he wanted to talk about the Knicks gave up all these picks from Macau. Well, you didn't hit. You didn't hit on none of them. So I need you to leave me alone. And this is for you, Caesar. You already know I'm talking to you. I'm looking directly in the camera at you. You are poverty. Your team is poverty, and they're going to remain poverty. So stop talking about the Knicks because we in the playoffs. And y'all niggas losing. Excuse my language, man.
Oh, you got to clip that shit.
I didn't know he was going to do that.
You got to clip that and then put it on. Oh, I got to clip it. One of us got to clip that. That was awesome. And then we put 2 Sears.
2
put him in. Oh, Caesar. I thought it was Sears.
And they also have over $50 million in cap space, by the way.
Nobody want to sign with him. Nobody want to sign with him, man. They ass. I'm sorry.
You think that my point is, Justin, you would think that with this money, they would flip picks for veterans, absorbing the bad contracts that they're going on in the drafts. But yeah, they drafted 4 different guards, and they're all young guys. So it literally makes no sense.
That's
why they're doing this in the offseason. They're acting like they're a championship caliber team. Like they just had to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
So now my take on this is I would have to respectfully agree with Justin because this shit is crazy. I didn't know that they took 4 guards with basically all the picks that they got from Mikal Bridges. I think that was just dumb, flat out dumb. I would also have to say another team that to me is a little dumb. I know the second apron has a lot of has problems with this, and is the reason why the Celtics have to leave without Holiday and Porzingis. I'm cool with letting go Porzingis based on the fact that he was unhealthy this year, but when he's on the damn court, that man is a monster. He cannot be stopped. But for me, I'm cool with letting him go. But you let him go for a fucking bag of chips. You got Luis Dang. You got Dang back to the Celtics. I don't know when the last time that guy was relevant in the NBA. Respect to him, but I'm sorry. You're not relevant. And you're going to say, the Celtics going to say, oh, yeah, I can trade Porzingis for him. Really? You could have got so much more from Dang. For Porzingis. But you send him to the Hawks, where he actually might do pretty well with Atlanta and Trae Young. I'd like to see that duo out there. But I think that they could have got a lot more, especially understanding they're going into this year without Jason Tatum. It's going to be Jaylen Brown's team. And then on top of that, Drew Holiday. I'm cool if you want to get Simons in here. A young guard, a guy that can make shots, can hit some shots, can defend a little bit. Obviously, he's not Drew Holiday. Off Drew Holiday, older guy to the thing. But if you're trying to still compete or be in the playoffs, I think if you're going to let go Kristoff, okay, you should have gotten way more for him. And then you should have kept Drew Holiday. Because I think that his quality of a player and a person that's a championship pedigree, I think you got to keep on a team who's getting a little thinner on that, especially losing out on giving up Porzingis. Now Drew Holiday. So you basically only have Jaylen Brown there that's consistently a guy that can hit shots other than Pritchard, which I think Pritchard's great as well, but he comes off the bench. So I think that you should have kept Drew Holiday and got more for Kristoff if you were going to do it that way. Any other way, now you lost both. Now you're definitely going into the season knowing that you're not doing shit. Celtics are not winning nothing. They're not going to be a top 5 seed. They might not even make the playoffs. I'm even going to put it on a limb here. The Celtics might not make the playoffs next year based on the fact that they let these guys go. Unless some drastic thing happens, you would have to rely on all the young guys, all the bench guys from last year, to play a role to get you guys even into the playoffs. And without Jason Tatum, you're not winning a playoff series. I'm sorry. Against any team. I don't care what it is. You're not winning a playoff series against anybody without Jason Tatum. You need that help for Jaylen Brown. Because if not, they're just going to double Jaylen Brown. They're going to say, hey, everybody else beat us. And they're not going to beat you. So that's my take. I think the only other team that really surprised me this draft / off season so far has been the Celtics, based on the fact that they've moved two of their biggest guys for basically nothing. And that's it. I don't know if Justin, you have anything to say, but
I think the trades that the Celtics did were good. I don't care what anyone says. That no, who else is taking them contracts? I'm not. In the climate of the second apron, those contracts were extremely hard to move, especially with the age of those players.
Well, I'm saying keep one, move the other, and then
No. You need and 20. What is it? The last year of Tatum's deal before the player option, he'll be making $68 million.
I know we talked about this.
We talked about this before, and then Jaylen Brown's is high too. They can't afford that.
Well, again, that's at the end of his contract. Now, I'm not saying...
Yeah, but it goes up every year.
No, I know that. And Drew Holiday is old. So I was just saying for this reason, because there's no Jason Tatum this year. If you still want to actually compete for something, I would think you should have said, hey, let's keep one, but get back an actual another guy. Like Georges Niang? Really? Come on, Justin. You got to admit that was pretty dumb. Getting Georges Niang and a second-round pick.
He is shooter, though. He is shooter.
Georges Niang is the epitome of ass. And then
he reminds me of them guys that we go into Planet Fitness to hoop with, bro. He's a real hooper for real.
Yeah. Well, he could go back to Planet Fitness because I haven't heard a damn thing about him in so long. Georges Niang is ass. Then you get a second-round pick for Kristaps Porzingis. I'm sorry.
Who's Kristaps, though? Kristaps.
Whatever.
What is this, Frozen? What is this? You saying Kristaps? That's a Frozen character.
I don't care. Kristaps, whatever the hell you want to call it. Tingus Pingus. There we go. So Tingus Pingus Celtics should have got way more for him than what they got. I think Georges Niang is not the right fit. I don't think you should have went in and left the guy. Yes, he was injured. Yes, he had a sickness. But when he was on the floor, he was great for your team. I think you could have got a lot more for somebody like him with a different team. But obviously that's not the thing. Brandon says the Hawks banked on the draft.
Yeah, what yeah, I guess.
I don't know. What do we think? I didn't think the Hawks did bad. I think they did
bad, but I don't think they did great. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, Brandon. I really don't give a shit about the Hawks, but
terrible, man. We got some guys that are asking about the Hawks.
But I will, because I'm a Knicks fan, so I had to put that out there.
Yeah, but Brandon says we own the Pels and the Bucks.
All right, that's cool, but what playoff success have you had? It's 2021.
All right, we're gonna have to stop the show because Justin and Brandon are gonna go on a rant on how the Knicks
was a good pick
and the Hawks.
I mentioned that earlier in the show.
Yes, you did. No, they were. Yes. Again, they didn't have a bad.
They didn't have a bad draft, though. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
They had a pretty.
He's a good
draft.
player.
They're gonna be good next year. They're gonna be better with the Porzingis edition and Jalen. What's his name? Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna have a big jump. If he can stay healthy, they might be like a 4 through 5 seed.
Brandon also said next year we own the Pels draft pick, which could be a number 1. Who's coming out of the class
He's
next
getting
year?
ideas now.
AJ DeBancis? Oh, shit. The Boozer twins?
Oh, they're going to be back.
Yo.
Don't let them get a Boozer twin or something.
Or AJ DeBancis. If the Hawks are able to pull off AJ DeBancis with Kristaps and Trae Young, oh, shit.
And Jalen Johnson?
That's going to be. Oh, and then who's that guy? Is that Jalen Johnson, the guy that was.
Oh, Ricochet.
Yes. Yes. He was great. So I definitely.
Scared.
Yo, the Hawks are. They could be coming for the Knicks, man.
They could be coming back.
We'll see what happens. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for the show. Here on the Fire Sports Pod, we are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. This was season 8, episode number 7. Here on this Friday night, we'll see you all for Recap Monday on season 8, episode number 8. Catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your weekend.